We turn tonight to the tapes the police can't erase, the pat-downs, the searches, and the women who say those investigators were searching for far more than evidence. Tonight, see the video for yourself. You decide, peep show or police pro. Once again, Deborah Roberts.
No matter where you go these days, chances are you're being watched. But cameras are also recording the men in blue, too. And if they step out of line, the video's there to tell the tale. And there's plenty of video to watch at the jail in Puyallup, Washington.
We believe that jail safety cameras are an absolute necessary for life and safety over privacy. When you step foot into a correctional institution, your expectation of privacy is greatly diminished.
That's putting it mildly, according to these women who claim they're victims in the case of the video voyeurs. The four describe their ordeals, but are too embarrassed to show their faces.
It was a very awful experience, and it was humiliating, embarrassing.
The anger of knowing that somebody has these videos, and it's happening to all these other women.
The revealing videos were uncovered when defense attorney James Egan began researching public records for a DUI client.
I've represented thousands of people in DUIs, and I've never seen this.
Turns out cops in Puyallup have been videotaping young women, most of them detained for DUI, as they change clothes and use the toilet.
This practice appears to be a peep show.
Even though the jail does have curtained areas for changing in private, these women were all sent to a holding cell with a camera overhead and told to strip.
I felt like a doll. They were just dressing up and dressing down. I was on display for them.
They were made to change into jail clothes for their mugshots, then told to undress again before being released.
We have you change into jail clothing because it's very common for offenders to hide items and places on their body or within their clothing.
This is protocol. Well, that's funny, because you're the only ones that are doing it.
Egan has now filed lawsuits on behalf of dozens of women convinced the cops used the jailhouse cameras for a free show.
I'm extremely angry. They're there to serve and protect us, and they completely took advantage of each and every one of us.
If you're expecting an apology from the police, forget it. The department insists its video monitoring is legal and appropriate.
We don't believe there's any merit to the allegations that our corrections officers did anything wrong whatsoever. We do not have officers sitting there monitoring the cameras when that type of activity is going on. And in fact, all of these cases, there are no officers viewing the video or the monitor at any time through any of the allegations.
But the women aren't buying it.
Yeah, it was really cold in there, and I asked for a blanket, and he told me if I do jumping jacks, he'll be watching me. Don't do jumping jacks naked, because I'll be watching.
The Washington case isn't the only instance where cameras have landed police in hot water. Take the case of the problematic pat-down in Texas last year. A state trooper pulls over a 38-year-old woman and her 24-year-old niece for littering, claiming they were acting weird. When his female backup arrives, the weirdness kicks into overdrive. Suspected of hiding drugs, the women say they were forced to submit to a body cavity search on camera in full view of passing cars. And watch this. The horrified victims say the officer didn't even bother to change latex gloves between searches.
That's gross. That is gross.
Bobby Ramos spent 20 years as a cop in the NYPD.
Is there ever a reason to do this kind of a search out by the roadside?
No, absolutely not. This is like, and the idea that she's doing this in front of her dash cam is outrageous.
The female officer was fired, her male counterpart suspended. Still, if you think that's bad, consider the case of the strange strip search. 33-year-old Dana Holmes was speeding home from a wedding when cops pulled her over. She fails a breathalyzer test and is carted off to jail.
Are you gonna arrest me?
I am gonna arrest you for DUI.
Are you serious?
But now her evening's about to go from bad to worse. As she's being booked into the LaSalle County Jail, Holmes is told to stand up, spread her arms and legs as she faces the wall. During the search, a female deputy lifts Holmes' left foot.
I had no problem with the female guard patting me down.
Then attempts to do the same with the right.
I was cooperating. If she told me to lift, I did.
In their incident report, the officers allege Holmes tried to kick them. The deputies pounce immediately.
1 minute she was patting me down, and the next minute I was just forcefully attacked to the ground. I was picked up by all 4 officers and carried to another cell where they forcefully took off all of my clothes, completely naked, where I was left on the floor of a jail cell, and it was just very terrifying for me.
Would you need 4 people to do a search?
No, not at all. It depends on how that person's acting. If the person's compliant, then there's no reason to have all these cops or all these officers gawking at what's taking place, because basically that's what they're doing.
In fact, Illinois law says a strip search is permitted only when officers believe a person may be hiding a weapon or drugs, and it must be done by an officer of the same sex in private.
This is as bad as it gets. These 4 individuals acting in concert together were either stupid, arrogant, untrained, or some combination of all of those things to have done this.
LaSalle County officials maintain the jail guards did nothing wrong. But don't tell that to Dana Holmes.
I did inform them that I was going to see them in court, and they laughed in my face, said, well, make sure you get my last name right, and you better have a damn good attorney.
Dana says she has that attorney, and most importantly, she has that video.